This is my HND project on game design. It is a game I made in Unreal Engine 4 using my knowledge of blueprints and the level editor, and this is a short walkthrough of the game. You can see the stamina bar in the bottom left, which is part of my HUD, and then I've got the rest of the tutorial, which I'll follow. As it says, spacebar to jump, and click to shoot the enemy, which appears after a short duration. It also says you do spacebar while in the air to do a flip. And then you can use a flip to reach high places. Up here, lots of these spawn. I died there, but one issue I found with that is that when people played my game, they weren't able to read the text because it was covered up by the player model. So that's something that I would want to address in a future version. So you can come across, but as soon as you step up here, all of these spawn, and you're meant to hold shift and run to get past there, but you can't exactly see the text, and the enemies spawn too quickly. This is the main level of my game, and it's procedurally generated. It's procedurally generated, meaning that, well, parts of the level are randomly placed by the computer using random integers. As you can see quite clearly, one of the bugs I have in the game but couldn't resolve is that you can shoot through walls. But yes, so the stamina bar is consumed when you run. And each of these rooms in blocks of like 6, if you count each of these architecture meshes as one block, count towards each 6 by 6 is a room, and there are 4 by 4 rooms in the procedural level. You can front flip around, and the idea of the game is to be moving around fast, dodging all of the enemies as they fly towards you, and shooting them. Also, in one of the top floors, there's always this pickup, this shield power up, which I made using the mechanics of the shoot mechanic and the sprint mechanic, because it consumes stamina. But oops, I missed it there. When you pick it up, it pops up with some text that says shield mutation, hold right click to protect yourself at the cost of stamina. As you can see here, it works like this, and it follows the player's cursor while you hold right click, so that you can defend against any of the malice, which is the red enemy in my game. Oh, like that, and then shoot at them. So as you saw there, I used the shield to protect myself from the malice, which is intended for the players to use, because I had some feedback that said, oh, they keep hiding around corners, I need a way to defend myself. So I implemented this. As you can see, I can run around the level, try and go fast. One issue is, which I noticed changed the behavior of my players, which I wasn't intending, is that because the spawn system for the enemies is quite random, like there, you can't see them around corners, and it made, oh, lucky spawn there, I'll explain that in a minute. It made players be cautious when what I wanted players to be doing is running around and killing stuff in a fast-paced action-themed game, whereas they become cautious. You can, if you know what you're doing, kind of avoid the issues by shooting the areas before you approach them. But other than that, it's not the best. So as I just progress through the level here, I'll play as intended, where you're meant to be going fast and dodging about. You might see some recognizable rooms in the level, like this room will probably appear soon. Not here. Oh, yes, here. As you can see, the room above has been pasted down below, and this is because I've only made 4 template rooms. This is another one of them, of the 4. But each time across the layers, it picks one of 4 rooms and places them. So that's why it is authored content, but at the same time holds random properties, which makes for a good mix and is inspired by games like Spelunky by Derek Yu. Here's the exit of the level, or the game. Where you go through a corridor at the end, and it says you cleared the level, which is part of my HUD. It then pops up, showing how many points you got for killing things, how fast you completed the level, and a bonus of speed, which increases the shorter your completion time is, and then also a total score, and they all load in 1 second after each other. So if I play it again, you'll notice there's a blank space that was over here on the left. What that is rewarded for is if you do certain criteria, certain achievements. Let's say like, oops, you can see the shield pickup there, but in this run through, I'll avoid the shield pickup, and I'll go, oops. I'll play through the level as though, well, I don't want the shield pickup because there is a criteria, which is to not use any malicious mutations, and the shield pickup is meant to be a malicious mutation. And if I fill in that criteria, I will be rewarded with some extra points. So here I am at the end again. I clear the level, but this time I didn't pick up the shield. I don't think I killed anything either, actually. I might have done. But here, I got 0 base points. Yeah, so I didn't kill anything. So I actually got 2 bonuses. They're kind of an achievement, and in the actual game, they would be something like extra rooms that you unlock, or little extra scenes in the story, cutscenes, or something like that. But here I've put it as a Dodge Master plus 100 points, beat the level with just mobility and the mastery of the mechanics to dodge the enemies, like I did in that playthrough, and also Goodwill, which is to beat the level without any malicious mutations. Here you can see I completed it in a much shorter time. That's probably one of the best times I've actually done, right there. And I got a total score of 3,612 points. The scoring is not quite balanced because maybe sometimes getting no kills should be more valuable or less valuable, but it doesn't quite match up because you can either get 0 kills and get 1,000 points, or you could instead get 100 kills and get 1,000 points. It kind of needs tweaking a little bit. But if you play the game, I'll explain how the shield pickup spawns as well. So, as I said, there are 6x6 block rooms, and in one of the top 6, the shield pickup always spawns. That used a procedural generation method where I defined each tile using a lot of mathematical blocks in the blueprint, and it spawns this somewhere. So now I get the shield, and it spawns somewhere amongst them all. So I got the shield, and I can quickly run through. I won't get any bonuses because I've already killed enemies and I've used the shield. But the shield is a good way to defend against groups of them like that. However, it will run out if you run out of stamina. So it's good to be cautious because, say, like, you could run out there and be attacked. Shooting through walls really helps in this game as well. Here's the shoot. And I cleared the level. So this time it loads this quickly. 1, 2, 3. And they load at a constant rate. That was also done by having a variable change depending on how many of these I want to load. So this will take 5 seconds before loading if there's 4 things that come before it, for example. So with just a few playtests, it's kind of about getting the best score you can. And the best way to do that is to go through the level fast. So I'm rewarding my player for playing how I want them to, which is to go fast. And giving them a bonus if they decide to take a challenge of using no pickups, where the only pickup is the shield at the moment. And there's also the achievement for the no kills, which was suggested by a player who played the game and said, how about an achievement where if you don't kill any of the enemies, then you get some extra points or something like that. They didn't mention the points, but I included it as that feature because I thought it was appropriate. It doesn't quite seem the right way to include it, and if my game had achievements, it would probably suit that a lot better. But here I'm going about not using the shield and trying to get through the level without shooting anything. There we go. So it can sometimes be tricky to avoid the enemies, but I'll have another go. A good thing to do is to train them about and group them all up so that you don't get caught, but sometimes, ooh, like that, it becomes very close. And yeah, it's difficult. Which is one of the feedback pieces that I got a few times, is that the game is difficult. But that's a good thing and a bad thing. That felt like an unreasonable death because I didn't know where it was. So something I could also add is to make it so that the player does not, or the player has an aggro range or something like that, where enemies only spawn if you're so close to them. Or just have set spawn points in each procedural generation. Something I didn't do, and I'm just gonna shoot them because they were blocking my way. So it's stuff like you can see where they're gonna come from. Also at the bottom I have this blocked off. Each room has an exit at the bottom and the right hand side, so there'll always be a way to the exit, which I didn't modify any of the procedural generation like that. So again, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, they all load at a constant rate, and I got the bonus 1000, and I got 1060 bonus points. This would match to 1000 bonus points in speed if this completion time equaled 30 seconds. That is about it for my game. I don't have a pause button, so pressing escape doesn't do anything, which is something that I would want to add, and it felt silly that I didn't add it, but I only noticed it after shipping my game to a suitable format. The only way to exit the game is to die, and then click the quit button down here. So there we go, that's my project on game design for my HND.